Good morning and thanks for joining us here on Daybreak. It is 9 a.m., 5 degrees out there, and we are issuing a weather impact alert because of the really brutal wind chills this morning and also snow flying as well. And that is leading to some school closures in our area. Now, today, the Buffalo Public Schools are remote learning. That's for everyone today, but tomorrow students from pre-K to 8th grade will have a regular day of in-person classes. However, all high schoolers will once again be on a remote learning day so that their Regents exams can be scored. The district says yesterday's closure forced teachers to postpone their grading. Other schools included in the list of closures today that are weather related include Lockport, Niagara Falls, and Jamestown City Schools. That full list is posted on our website, WGRZ.com. But all of that bad weather this morning definitely playing a role on some issues on the roads. Lance, what an awful morning out there. Pretty much anywhere you want to go in Western New York, you're going to have a tie-up on the highways, right?
Yeah, you got it. I mean, Patrick was saying early in the morning that snow was going to come through. Not a lot of it, but a light blowing snow right during the busiest part of the morning drive. And that's exactly what happened. It caused a lot of headaches out there. Thankfully, we have had a lot of accidents clear and some congestion reduced as well. So let's just get to what we have currently on our camera views. So this is actually off the highways, but in a pretty slick area. You can see Sheridan Drive has a nice light coating through Tonawanda. That's where this driver is spun around and blocking the right lane right under the 190 just beyond Kenmore Avenue there, so crews tending to that. The 290's been a mess really ever since that snow started. Between the 990 and Main Street, we've had multiple accidents near Millersport Highway and Sheridan Drive. As I said, they've all been cleared up, but you can still see visibility reduced near Millersport on the left and a lot of congestion. You know, usually by 9 o'clock, things are nice and clear, but with this weather causing everyone to be late, and the accidents as well did not help at all. So it's been certainly a tough drive through Amherst along the 290. And then we had that accident real quick on inbound Route 5, right near the Terminal B section. That was backing us up to Tiff Street. You can see some snow coverage on Route 5 along the Outer Harbor, but thankfully all lanes have been reopened, so that's looking a bit better through that stretch, Melissa. But yeah, it's been a tough drive, not only on neighborhood side streets, but the highways were getting impacted this morning.
Yeah, and it might catch drivers off guard because it might seem perfectly clear, the roads might seem clear, but then all of a sudden, if you're driving past an area that's got, open land on either side of you, the wind blows the snow, and now you're all of a sudden in a whiteout condition. Or you're driving and the roads are perfectly clear, but then you hit a patch of snow because the wind has blown that light fluffy snow onto the road. So it really will catch drivers off guard throughout the day today as those winds continue to howl.
Yeah, that's where all of our early issues started. Before the fresh snow was falling from the sky, it was the snow that was built up. It was very light, cold, and powdery. And along the 190 from Grand Island to downtown Buffalo, it was starting to blow onto the pavements. And that's where we had earlier accidents near Sheridan Drive and on Grand Island itself. And then I was looking at cameras, like you mentioned, in rural open roads in Niagara County along Route 104, 31. It wasn't volume related, but it was slow all morning because of those wind gusts. And you could go from clear visibility to almost nothing, not even a couple feet in front of you because of how much snow is just blowing with those high winds. So yeah, it was a challenging drive for sure. Things are starting to clear up, but that wind is going to be around for a while, I believe, right, Melissa?
Right, it will. And even tomorrow, the wind chill is going to be really low. The winds are going to be sticking around, and it makes it really hard for plow drivers because they might think that they just did a pass on a road, but it only takes a few minutes later and they'll have to do it again in order, it's not really accumulating that much, but it's enough that it's making it slick. So maybe the salt will play a bigger role, but then again, with the temperatures as low as they are, the salt is not as effective in this weather. So it's, a double whammy out there on the road. So of course, just best bet is to give yourself extra time, take it really, really slow, especially on ramps and off ramps as well, and leave yourself some room and behind the driver in front of you, Lance.
Absolutely, yeah. Make sure your car's nice and cleared off because, you could have cleared it off maybe earlier this morning, or maybe you're already at work, you step outside into the parking lot and you have either a snow drift next to your car or, more snow is blown onto your headlights and taillights. Just make sure you have clear visibility. People can see you. That's always kind of the #1 safety rule when you're out and about, especially with conditions that are changing as rapidly as they are, like this morning, Melissa.
So many car issues also with people with batteries that aren't, that aren't working. And my problem right now, I'm going to vent for a second and maybe somebody watching can write and help me out here. My car says that my front door is open even though it's closed because the sensor is so frozen. And so I might need to take a hairdryer or something, but all sorts of like cold weather related issues with my car. And so I've got my parking brake coming on because my front door says it's open and it's not. Anyway, first world problems, I suppose, but lots of car-related issues out there for people. So, all right, Lance, you have been so busy, and I will give you a break now. You can rest and relax until you've got another live hit later on during the day, I'm sure. Thanks so much for your coverage of the roads this morning with the NFTA and Traffic Checker. Geez, Lance Mellon, we appreciate it. And the city of Buffalo is still working on removing snow from side streets as well. You can see views like this across the city with cars trapped by walls of snow that have been created by the plows. And Daybreak's Natalie Floss was out in Storm Tracker during Daybreak earlier this morning.
Hey there everyone, good morning. We are in Storm Tracker 2 this morning, taking a look at some of the side streets in the city of Buffalo. The city has said that they're still trying to get the roads clear and they're working hard. One thing we haven't noticed is a lot of plows out this morning. We've been out since about 5 a.m. and we have only seen one plow so far. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the camera around and show you out the window as we're kind of moving our way through the west side here. So one thing you can kind of notice, if you can hear me, is that there are some really big snowbanks on the side of the roads here, making it really hard for cars to be able to move out of their parking spots. And it's also pretty narrow, especially on these side streets that allow for parking on both sides. So that's something you're gonna wanna keep in mind as you are getting ready. Maybe give yourself a little extra time to possibly dig your car out this morning, and also just give yourself some extra time to actually drive to work. Another thing you're going to want to keep in mind is that there's some wind today, so you might experience some blowing snow where you could have a lot of visibility and then all of a sudden have no visibility. So keep that in mind. Make sure that you're not getting too comfortable on your morning commute. Stay aware, stay alert, and stay safe, everyone.
All right, good advice there, Natalie. Well, it is 9:07 now, and Buffalo Mayor Sean Ryan says he is fulfilling a campaign promise to bar city employees from helping in civil immigration enforcement. The mayor says that this executive order draws a very clear line of when the city of Buffalo will be involved with immigration enforcement and when it will not. This executive order prohibits all city employees, including police officers and firefighters, from assisting in federal civil immigration enforcement. Now, civil offenses include overstaying a visa, not having proper papers to work, or being present in the United States without authorization. The mayor says criminal cooperation will not be affected. Mayor Ryan says the order was carefully crafted based on similar policies in other cities, including Syracuse, Rochester, and New York City. Mayor Ryan says he wants Buffalo residents to feel safe when interacting with city government.
We don't want fear dictating people's uses of our city services. We don't want people to be afraid to come to City Hall because they're afraid someone is going to call ICE. A city can't function if residents are afraid to call the police, if residents are afraid to call the fire department or ask for any other city services that they're entitled to.
And Stu on Your Side has reached out to the Department of Homeland Security for its response to the mayor's order. We'll share what they say when we hear back. It is 9:08 now, and today two notable court cases will be moving forward. The first tied to the hit-and-run death of 70-year-old woman last month in Amherst. Prosecutors believe Cynthia Sitterly was hit and killed by a drunk driver. 57-year-old Jennifer Ortiz is charged with vehicular manslaughter in Sitterly's death. According to police, Ortiz hit Sitterly on Kensington Avenue near Harlem Road, near the traffic circle and McDonald's. Ortiz is also charged with leaving the scene and driving while intoxicated. She could face up to 7 years in prison. And the man accused of murdering an Allentown couple is also expected back in court. Brian Chiclana is charged in the deaths of Mickey Harmon and Jordan Coletto last March inside their home on St. Louis Place. Chiclana's lawyers claim that he was psychotic at the time of the killings, based on their expert's opinion. Prosecutors are pushing to have Chiclana undergo a second psychological examination. Chiclana could face life in prison if he's found guilty of those murder charges. All right, and Patrick is down from the roof now. Patrick, that anemometer was really spinning behind you when you were up on the roof, showing just how windy it is up there.
It is, yeah, we had a wind gust to 41 miles an hour at the Niagara Airport. So it is still gusty out there. Winds are kind of in that 35 mile an hour range, and your air temperature is so cold. Still, we're in the single digits, and your wind chills are kind of averaging about 15 below zero just about everywhere. So it is very, very cold. All right, so as we talked about this earlier, we were showing Future Look that showed a lake effect band setting up, and in fact, it's not there. The ice, some computer models don't analyze ice very well over Lake Erie. So we have a different source of information that'll help clarify the snow chances for today. First of all, it has still got some flurries going on out there that the radar can't always see. And also blowing snow. That's probably more of a thing right now, is the snow that did fall is blowing around. So here is another version of Future Look. It's a little more coarse, but it does tell the story of snow chances that may not necessarily be true lake effect, but just kind of little bursts of snow coming down in the cold air this afternoon. And that could affect the evening commute potentially, and then it should dry out tonight. And then for tomorrow, it looks like a cold day, a drier day, but still maybe a few showers coming off the lake in the afternoon. The snowfall looks minimal tomorrow. So there are the wind gusts between 30 and 40 miles an hour. And they will continue, but weaken slowly. They've already come down a little bit in some spots, but still gusty today, tonight, and then even into tomorrow morning. That looks like a tie-dye map. Doesn't that look like a tie-dye shirt? It really does. This map brought to you by Jerry Garcia. Anyway, the winds will still be in the 20s tomorrow. Wind chills will still be very cold, but maybe not as brutal as today. And there you can see wind chills staying below zero throughout the day today. 15 below is how it feels in Niagara Falls. And let's get to the forecast. Snow showers, blowing snow, very cold wind chills. The high 16. The low tonight down to 5, kind of like what it was this morning. Snow showers, breezy, very cold. And then for tomorrow, scattered snow showers. There might be a few sun breaks in the morning. A weather impact alert again for today for the whole region because of some blowing snow and very cold temperatures. That'll take us through Friday. It'll take us through the weekend, even into next week. But snow chances kind of wrapping up by Thursday. Cold weather. Look at Friday highs only in the single digits, Melissa.
Patrick, is tomorrow going to be just as bad as today?
Yes. Maybe not quite as, yes, it's going to be not as much snow,
okay,
but it'll be almost equally as cold. Yes.
Good to know.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. That's all I wanted to know.
All right.
All right, stay with us. We're going to take a quick break, and we will talk sports coming up after the break. Stay with us. Awful lot of butter.
Yeah, well, probably too much butter.
Can we show?
Sure.
So I asked Patrick, what did he do to his thumb? It looked like he had like a razor blade to his thumb.
Wow.
Yeah.
Razor blade.
Wait.
Where are we going? I was going to show it.
Yes, you can.
Okay. Okay. Anywho, so as it turns out, I was cooking healthy, apparently.
Well, the salmon was healthy. The 4 pounds of butter that was in the
butter splatted out of the pan, and it turned into
Patrick,
a blister.
don't show your thumb there.
Okay, we'll go up here. That's kind of funny. Okay. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
That's going to go
I'm
viral.
blaming Mike Shabeel, our director, for zooming in. Okay.
Yes, there.
Okay, so that's the butter bird.
That's the alley right there, yes. Okay. Fix my tie. Okay, we can pan up now.
All right, let's.
Love to have a close-up on that part of the body.
Okay, well, I hope that you are using some Neosporin and taking care of your thumb. And I'm proud of you for cooking salmon.
It was delicious, too.
Good.
With a little Paul Prudhomme seasoning. It was very
Some what seasoning?
Paul Prudhomme. He's a chef from like New Orleans. You never heard of Paul Prudhomme?
No.
Oh, I think he used to be on the Today Show quite a bit. Huh. But he's kind of a celebrity chef, and he developed his own line of seasonings.
Got it. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
He looks exactly like Dom DeLuise. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
You put Paul Prudhomme and Dom DeLuise, they look identical. They're the same person.
Okay.
So.
Well, this is really fascinating TV.
Okay.
Shall we talk about the Bills now and the interview process, which is also kind of fascinating. They've interviewed 9 guys so far, and there are a couple more who are pretty interesting that they're waiting for. Our Channel 2 Sports Director John Scott and NFL insider Vic Carucci are breaking down all of the candidates, including the one that hasn't been interviewed yet.
John Scott here with Vic Carucci as the Bills head coaching search continuing in a big fashion here. They are now up to 9 people that they have interviewed to potentially replace Sean McDermott. The latest is Rams passing coordinator Nate Scheelhaase meeting with them earlier this evening, and earlier in the day it was Davis Webb. There's 9 people that they have met with, Vic, but there is one name I want to start with who they haven't, and the question is, should they? And that's Seahawks offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak. Obviously impressive in what he's done with Sam Darnold. That offense is Seattle is headed to the Super Bowl. The catch here is because they are participating in the Super Bowl, the Bills cannot talk with him and interview him for 2 weeks until after that game is played. Is it worth it for this organization to wait on Kubiak to potentially have him in the head coaching mix?
Look, if they have a consensus and believe he's the best guy available, then absolutely wait. But I think the wait is a problem for them, and I'm not convinced they believe that. What I've been hearing is that they have not been proactive, at least in putting feelers out to his agent to connect with him. And I know a couple of teams are traveling out to Seattle to meet with him. And I think the Bills believe that 2-week period, which would again slow down the whole process of building a staff and just set things back from an off-season standpoint where you're trying to build for the 2026 season, I think those are negatives that they want to avoid.
All right, the latest besides Scheelhaase that the Bills speaking to on Monday was Davis Webb. Their former backup quarterback was on the Bills practice squad, currently Denver's passing game coordinator as well as their quarterback's coach. The latest one, this always seemed like an obvious, at least they're going to talk to him, Vic, but what do you think of the prospect of him being this team's next head coach?
Yeah, I think this is more about the conversation, about picking his brain, as is the case with a lot of these interviews, to just get some perspective and insight. The connection with Josh Allen and the Bills organization is certainly obvious, but I don't know that he has the gravitas to be a head coach, at least at this point of his career.
All right, 9 interviews down here in less than a week. That doesn't include whether or not Kubiak could be in the mix here. As things currently stand, Vic, at this point in the process, which direction are you leaning towards that the Bills will go to be their next head coach?
Well, I know there's a lot of hue and cry for a fresh face and a fresh voice, and I understand that, but I do think there is an advantage to maybe staying in-house with Joe Brady as the head coaching choice, the institutional knowledge that he has, and maybe pairing him up with Brian Daboll as offensive coordinator. Brian's work with Josh Allen got some of the best out of Josh Allen, and I think that's a plus. And I also think it gives the Bills a backstop if things don't necessarily work out with Brady over the long haul as their head coach. But it wouldn't shock me if we had that kind of pairing.
If they do not have any desire in Clint Kubiak, I think you and I are in agreement. The Bills head coaching search, all but likely, will end this week, and they will pick their guy by the time we meet again next Monday for Sports Talk Live. All right, that's where the Bills coaching search is for now. Of course, we will keep you up to date with the latest as the days roll along. With Vic Carucci, I'm John Scott for Channel 2 Sports.
I kind of feel like all season long, though, I was questioning Joe Brady's skills more than I was McDermott. I was upset with so many of the plays and how he was running the offense. And so
he's kind of like, I mean, Dayball's got more of a throw the ball down the field, let Josh be Josh. And it seemed like, he became more run focused. And all those, it's sometimes almost predictable. There was some of the play calling. Mm-hmm. I mean, some good stuff. I mean, he's a good OC, but it just seemed like, okay, it's 1st and 10. We know we're going to run it up the middle.
And you wonder how much do Bills fans play a role in what the Bills brass is going to do when picking
Bills fans?
Yeah. I mean, do you want to – there's such a mess right now with the look of the organization. Mm-hmm. Do you want to make the Bills fans happy with a splashy pick, or do you just want somebody
Yeah, I don't know.
safe?
By the way, you know the sports columnist Tyler Dunn?
Yeah. Who used to be here in Buffalo and
Yeah.
not anymore.
No, I think he's still here. Anyway, he did a video interview with Jim Rome.
Okay.
And explained and talked about the culture and what happened since 13 seconds. And he sets the tone of the McDermott firing. It was time. And I was listening to him with all of his takes, and he's pretty spot on.
Mm-hmm.
And so he really came to the defense of the firing and what happened during 13 seconds. And apparently Heath Farwell was the special teams coordinator. And during 13 seconds, he wanted to do a squib kick, and Coach McDermott overrode him and said, no, kick it into the end zone, which is the whole reason why 13 seconds happened. Anyway, my point is, you said that the team is a mess right now, which I totally get. The fans do not seem to be supportive of this. But there's another way to look at it, too. At least, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a new face is what's needed, but the question is, whose is it?
Can you imagine the pressure on this new guy?
Oh, my. Incredible pressure.
Right. That obviously they're hoping that the Super Bowl is, coming sooner rather than later for the team, but also just to, be liked by this fan base and to be welcomed by this fan base. It's
Hey, they start winning, all will be forgotten.
That's true.
All
right, we'll be right back after this. Stay with us. Oh, we'll tell you who's coming to concert here in Western New York in April. Big concert announcement. Patrick might be happy. All right, here it is.
No
Barry
way.
Manilow is coming to Buffalo. It's part of the last concert farewell tour in the U.S., but will it really be his last concert? He's going to be making a stop at the KeyBank Center April 22nd. At every show, by the way, Manilow will celebrate local music educators with the Manilow Music Teacher Award. So we'll have information posted on our website on how you can apply or nominate someone. Okay.
How old do you think he is?
Oh, did you just check?
Uh-huh.
I'm guessing 82.
82. Nice.
I did not know that either.
Very good.
Okay, what's your favorite song? Barry Manilow song.
Daybreak.
I despise Daybreak by Barry Manilow.
Daybreak.
Every time we play it here, first of all, I think of John Beard because he would sing it all the time. And also, it's just,
It's the name of our show.
it doesn't really, but it doesn't
It's right
encapsulate
there.
who we are.
Daybreak.
Daybreak. Okay, so this is a wonderful list from our digital manager, Kim DeGeorge, and Connie, Jim Connerton, our Daybreak editor, who are both Barry Manilow fans. So they made their list of the top songs. Can you name them?
The list. Okay.
This is just their favorites. I mean, what's the
Copacabana.
right?
Okay. Yeah, and then Mandy.
Mandy is number 2.
God, I'm just.
The rest of these, I have no idea.
Okay, whatever.
I really don't. I write the songs.
Oh, I write the songs that make the whole world sing.
That sounds like something like 5th graders would sing.
I write the songs that make the young girls cry.
Oh.
I write the songs. That one.
Makes the old girls cry too. Can't Smile Without You.
You've heard that one. I can't smile without you.
Isn't this a great segment?
This is
I told
awesome.
Milton, our producer, I'm like, we can stretch this out. We'll have time because I knew that you were going to do this. Okay, looks like we made it.
Looks like we made it. Yeah. And it's got a nice.
That's him. That's Barry Manilow.
Yes, I think you're part of the song. I don't know if I recognize.
Wait, I'm thinking of like a '90s,
No.
like Shania Twain.
No. Oh, no.
Do you know which one?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Is your song that you were singing?
Looks like we made it. It's that one.
Oh, it's that one.
But yeah, and it's got a big crescendo. It's a great song.
Does it have a gospel choir? Everything's better with a gospel
Yeah,
choir.
it could. But
Okay.
I don't think it does.
Weekend in New England.
Don't know that one.
And Could It Be Magic?
Don't know that one either.
Neither. Well, looks like you won't be going to the Barry Manilow show. If you could just play Copacabana like over and over and over again, I'd have a blast.
His name was Rico. Yeah, that'd be. That's cool. So April 23rd.
22nd.
22nd.
Yep.
Okay. Good show.
I kind of get him confused with Rod Stewart.
Okay. They don't look totally dissimilar.
Right.
Same age. Very
kind of songs, right?
No, Rod is far more rock and roll than Barry.
Who does
Manilow.
Sweet Caroline?
That's Neil Diamond.
And the three of them could be
Right.
the three amigos.
Okay, so Neil Diamond and Barry Manilow are far more similar than Rod Stewart. Yeah, Rod Stewart's got more of a rock and roll background. Even though he did become kind of a crooner. He started doing like ballads and doing, you know, like Frank Sinatra type stuff. So that's where they could be a little more connected. Yeah, in Rod Stewart's later career. Yeah, I can see that.
right.
I can see that.
Okay, one final wrap of the weather. Windy, are we done with the snow today?
I think we still have some snow showers possible. I mean, we're not talking about big amounts, Cody, an inch or so. We do have a winter weather advisory until 10 o'clock. So there could be some snow showers though this afternoon, and anything that falls will blow around because it's going to stay windy and very cold. The wind chill.
Right, we haven't seen wind chills like this in a long time.
No, we had one other period this winter where it was, but not like this. But yeah, these are pretty cold, and again, day after day after day. So the wind chills tomorrow still in the 5 to 10 below zero. Okay. I don't think they'll cancel school though.
If they didn't today,
no,
they shouldn't tomorrow.
Well, some did.
The big city schools did. All right, tune into Daybreak. See if there's any school closures tomorrow. Bye, everybody.